streaming live on News8000.com. This is News 8 Now, this morning.
A good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Jordan Fremstead. This morning on News 8 Now, police launch an investigation after an officer-involved shooting in Eau Claire over the weekend.
And I'm Derek Sibley. We could run into some fog here on your morning commute. I'll have the details in my forecast.
And La Crosse celebrates its first Labor Day after a 2-year break. It is Tuesday, September 6, 2022. We've got all the news, weather, and buzz you need to plan out your morning coming up. But first, here is your Tuesday morning eye-opener.
People want rights at work. And they want to be treated fairly with respect, and they want to be treated fairly with wages and fairly with their employer.
Executive privilege is an area in which absolutely no court has ever found like circumstances to qualify.
The middle class built America. Everybody knows that. But unions built the middle class. That's a fact.
A new survey from Bankrate finds close to half of U.S. adults say they have unused gift cards, vouchers, or store credits.
Sometimes I can't find it.
It gets real low and I know I can't buy anything, I just throw it away.
But there weren't any girls' leagues, so she joined a boys' league.
And I was the only girl on the team and in the league.
Well, it is post-Labor Day, believe it or not.
Yeah, where'd it go? It went by so fast.
It did. Hope everybody enjoyed the 3-day weekend. It's always nice to have an extra day.
Yeah.
And then this week is now shorter, Derek. So
That's
school
true.
year's in full swing for many districts
Yes.
across the region. So now we get to talk about bus stop forecast, and I'm
That's
sure many
true.
parents are all smiles out there as they get to send the kids off.
Yeah,
as they
goodbye.
start the day.
I'll see you back in the afternoon. Yep, totally
sure.
understand that. Well, we're keeping a close eye on some patchy fog out there, Jordan, but as of right now, not really seeing a whole lot of reports, but we'll keep our eyes on it throughout the morning nonetheless. Temperatures as you head out the door, like heading off to the bus stop, right? Temperatures into the 50s. Some of us even waking up into the 60s. La Crosse at 60 degrees, as a matter of fact. 53 in Eau Claire, 47 degrees currently in Sparta. Looking cool there for you. CityCam 8 showing that things are looking quiet here, but again, some cloudy skies here and there across the area. And let's get a check now on your hourly forecast. Some patchy fog again here possible around the 6 to 7 o'clock hour or so, and then partly cloudy skies throughout the rest of the morning into the early afternoon. Then we start to see some clearing. So mostly sunny skies are expected later in the afternoon to the early evening, and temperatures will be warming up into the 70s. As far as your allergy report here today goes, everything is high. So the ragweed pollen declines usually by the time the middle of this month arrives. So we'll keep our eyes on that throughout the rest of this month, Jordan.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot, Derek. Well, we begin this morning in Eau Claire County, where an officer-involved shooting is now under investigation. Late Sunday night, 2 Eau Claire officers responded to a home on the northeast side where a man inside was armed with a gun. Officers confronted the man and fired their weapons at him. He was injured and taken to a local hospital. And as is policy, the Wisconsin Department of Justice Division of Criminal Investigation is conducting that investigation. The officers are currently on administrative leave. The Minnesota man charged with stabbing a group on the Apple River is headed to trial. Investigators say 52-year-old Nikolai Mew fatally stabbed a 17-year-old boy after an altercation between Mew and the group of tubers. Mew's attorneys argue that he was surrounded and attacked by the group, and he ultimately acted out in self-defense. Prosecutors say Mew instigated the fight. He has been in jail since July 30th. La Crosse police and firefighters rescued the driver of a vehicle that ended up halfway over the Riverside Park levee. You can see it there. It happened just after 5 Monday afternoon. La Crosse police plan to release information about the driver's condition, name, and what may have led up to that crash today, and we're going to share that information with you when it is made available. A group of Wisconsin nurses are getting ready to picket. UW Health nurses spoke to the press on Labor Fest in Madison on Monday, saying they'll strike for at least 3 days starting September 13th unless their demands are met. Those demands include a call to recognize the nurses' union. UW maintains recognizing the union violates a state law that reduces bargaining rights for unions. Hundreds of nurses are expected to walk off the job later this month.
This strike is about taking care of patients, but we aren't given the tools to do that job. Administration has cut staffing, taken away proper training. We are exhausted, making us prone to mistakes. Patients deserve better.
The UW Health nurses are not the only ones who are going on strike. Across the river, around 15,000 Minnesota nurses plan to begin their strike later this week on Friday after failed negotiations. Many people took a day off on Labor Day. A West Salem mom put in a lot of work and she couldn't be happier. Emily Sweeney went into labor Sunday night and delivered a baby boy Monday on Labor Day. This is Wesley, and he's just perfect. Family and friends got to meet the little guy a few hours after his birth. Proud parents Emily and Andrew Sweeney are excited to take him home.
He's healthy, so he's passing on his exams and checks, and so we're grateful for that. Very thankful.
That is good news. Wesley's big sister is also excited to have a little brother. And from all of us here at News 8 Now, a big congratulations to the Sweeney family. La Crosse's Labor Day celebration is making a comeback after a 2-year pandemic break. The city hosted its parade and picnic Monday. News 8 Now's Emily Haugen takes us there.
At La Crosse's Labor Day parade,
I like parades.
Some came for the candy.
And you'll get lots of candy.
Others showed up for the unity.
It's my 10th year of doing this, but it just represents how hard we've worked for the benefits that we get.
Much of that hard work is done by unions, organizations who LaborFest goers say have paved the way to today.
Labor is what drives this country. Without labor, nothing gets done, nothing gets made, nothing gets moved.
Labor Day celebrates workers.
Personally, for me, it's important to have this just to recognize everybody's hard work.
It has been 2 years since La Crosse's last LaborFest. Since then, the workforce has changed.
For years and years, businesses have counted on let's pay minimum wage. Let's give someone $7.50 an hour. They can't afford a home, they can't afford children, they can't afford a car. Workers are resurging now, and employers have to realize that we're a commodity. We're a valued commodity.
Amid the ongoing worker shortage, these laborers say they won't settle.
People want rights at work, and they want to be treated fairly with respect, and they want to be treated fairly with wages and fairly with their employer.
Ultimately, this Labor Day provided a chance for families to come together, for relatives, and the families we choose.
Now, LaborFest was hosted by Western Wisconsin's American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organization. La Crosse got its first visit from the brand new Viking Mississippi cruise ship on Monday. The luxury liner is 450 feet long and 75 feet wide, and it can carry more than 400 passengers. It left St. Paul on September 3rd and is on its way to St. Louis. The first 15-day cruise from St. Paul all the way down to New Orleans is scheduled to leave on September 17th.
Crosse is actually the only Wisconsin stop on any of the Viking cruise ship, Viking Mississippi cruise ship ports.
The Viking ship is the only American Viking ship and is specifically built for travel on the Mississippi River. One of La Crosse's biggest celebrations, Oktoberfest, is coming up. Organizers are giving active military and veterans 2 complimentary passes. They are available at the Fest office. A military or veteran ID is required at pickup. Oktoberfest begins on September 29th with a craft beer night and the Torchlight Parade on La Crosse's north side. It is a Dairyland tradition that has been around since 1975. Reporter Kathleen Merck takes us to the Wisconsin State Cow Chip Throw.
All right.
It doesn't get much more Wisconsin than this.
That one's good.
At Wisconsin's State Cow Chip Throw, they say some of the best things in the state come from the dairy air.
Basically, we throw cow chips, and yes, it really is dried cow manure.
These are what the cow chips look like. A whole lot of cow manure turns into a whole lot of fun here.
It's a tradition that you throw, and whoever gets the farthest, you win, and there's like nationals for it, I think.
Not really many people get to throw poop.
Maybe in other states, something like this wouldn't make much sense. Are you guys like not grossed out by that?
No, it's Wisconsin.
The event says a lot about America's Dairyland. Not just the crappy things.
It is mushy.
But the wholesome parts as well.
It's really brought the community together as a whole. How can you not have fun when you're talking about cow chips?
Reporting from Prairie to Sac, I'm Catherine Merck with News 3 Now.
Us Wisconsinites love competition because we have a chip on our shoulder, you could say. Well, those throwers surely do have a chip on their shoulders. Well, happening today as we move on, South Avenue in La Crosse will be closed through traffic between 7th Street and Green Bay Street. That closure comes as crews will be making an emergency repair of a water main under the northbound lanes. Work is expected to be completed by the end of the day on September 10th. It is back to school for La Crescent students today, with new teachers and students going and coming back to school. It will definitely be an exciting year. The new school year will also start out with a new superintendent for the district, Melinda Crowley. Back here in La Crosse, UW La Crosse students are also starting their first day of classes. With move-in weekend officially over, students from all over have been settling into their dorms and getting ready for classes. According to UWL's website, there are more than 9,000 students enrolled, with more than 81% of those students coming from Wisconsin. Still to come on your Tuesday morning news, money wasted. Consumer Reports examines what happens when people don't use gift cards. That money adds up. And while school teams may have had Labor Day off, it is all hands on deck for Major League Baseball, and the Brewers' playoff chances, well, they're running out of time. For now, we are sending you to break with something to put the good in your Tuesday morning. Italy is in the process of cleaning and restoring a 2,000-year-old Italian mosaic called a key part of Rome's history. It has been missing for nearly a century. The FBI art crime team received a tip in 2020, and according to the FBI, it had been cut into 16 pieces and kept inside a Los Angeles storage unit since the 1980s. They were then sent through diplomatic channels to Italy, and then the artwork arrived safely in April. Good ending to that story. It's 11 after the hour on this Tuesday. Your latest forecast is just ahead. We'll see you right after the break.
And that was a live look there from City Cam 8 showing a bit of a cloudy start this morning, but we do expect the clouds and the possibility of some fog that could develop to clear later today, giving way to plenty of sun. Temperatures in the 70s here throughout La Crosse County. Highs around 77 today in Gays Mills and 76 here to the north in Hillsboro. 77 though in Stoddard. Highs reaching 78 in Trempealeau, 77 Black River Falls, 75 today in Toma, and 77 degrees in Sparta. Looking at highs reaching 79, feeling comfortable in Eau Claire. Meanwhile, 75 today in Thorpe and 76 in Stanley. Your schoolcast this morning heading up to the bus stop. Watch out again for some of that fog that could develop on that commute. 72, partly cloudy by lunch hour. Lots of sunshine for the afternoon. Temperatures are expected to be pretty comfortable at around 76 degrees. So I'll be back with your weather forecast coming up, so to come in just a bit.
CVS Health announced it's buying Signify Health for about $8 billion, including debt. With more than 10,000 employees, Signify Health helps CVS with its push toward in-home patient care. The companies said they expect the deal to close in the first half of next year, pending shareholder and regulatory approval. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed a measure giving more than 500,000 fast food workers in the state more power and protections. It comes despite the objections from restaurant owners who warned it would drive up consumers' costs. The new law creates a 10-member fast food council empowered to set minimum standards for hours and working conditions in California. The panel also has said the minimum wage would set the minimum wage for fast food workers and could hike them to as high as $22 per hour next year. Government regulators in Ireland are fining Instagram about $400 million after an investigation found the social media platform mishandled teenagers' personal information in violation of EU data privacy rules. Instagram parent company Meta said it disagreed with the fine and plans to appeal. Every year, billions of dollars are spent on gift cards, but as Astrid Martinez reports, a big chunk of that money often goes to waste.
Gift cards are an easy and popular present.
I have teenage granddaughters, and I don't like to shop. So therefore, I use the gift cards.
People like giving them and receiving them, but often don't use all the money. A new survey from Bankrate finds close to half of U.S. adults say they have unused gift cards, vouchers, or store credits.
Sometimes I can't find it.
When it gets real low and I know I can't buy anything, I just throw it away.
I actually have like extra gift cards left over with like $2 and everything.
And typically much more money is left behind. The average American is sitting on $175. That's up from $116 last year.
They represent real money.
Bankrate's Ted Rossman says in many cases, the money is never spent.
About a third of people have either let a gift card expire or lost a gift card. A lot of times people are just their own worst enemy. They hold on to these things too long. The store goes out of business.
There are websites like Raise, Card Cash, and Give Cash that allow you to sell the card and receive anywhere from 70 to 90% of the value in cash. Another option, give the card to someone else, even if there's a small remainder left.
You can even reload a lot of these gift cards. So even if you have one of these weird remainders like $6.23, you could actually load that up in many cases to a more socially acceptable amount and then give that as a gift.
Rossman says when you receive one, it's important to make a plan to spend it because the cards only become a gift when you use them.
And as we saw, all that money adds up. A new Bankrate survey found that unused gift cards, vouchers, and store credits roughly added up to $15 billion in unused money.
Bit of a cloudy start this morning from City Cam 8 there, as you can see. We are going to be also watching the fog that could develop and affect your morning commute, so keep it here. We'll keep you updated on that. We've got a relative humidity value, as a matter of fact, at 90%, so there is a bit of moisture in the air for us to work with. Meanwhile, your river stage at 5.06 feet and dropping. Current temperature readings in the 50s and 60s across the area, looking at 48 degrees in both Black River Falls and Sparta. Meanwhile, it's 58 degrees currently in Viroqua and 53 degrees to the north in Eau Claire. Good morning to you up there. Looking at a nice calm and variable wind now across much of the Coulee region. We expect that to continue. In the meantime, we're also watching some of that low-level cloud beginning to develop, and also we're going to keep an eye on some of that patchy fog that could develop across portions of the Coulee region right near the surface. But for yesterday's high temperature, it was pretty nice, 77 degrees, only a couple degrees below the average high of 79. Now for today, I expect highs to be very similar to yesterday. High of 79, just shy of 80, putting us right at the average for the time of the year. Low of 60 here this morning, I'm expecting, putting us a couple degrees above normal there. Forecast highs across the rest of the area into the mid to upper 70s. Very seasonable day all across the Coulee region, with highs reaching 79 in both Eau Claire and La Crosse this afternoon. Now, as far as your daycast goes, patchy fog again early this morning around the 6 o'clock hour, and then partly cloudy, 71 degrees by noon. 4 o'clock, 76, and mostly sunny. And then by 8, you got clear skies here in the forecast with temperatures at around 72 degrees. So we expect those clouds here to decrease in coverage throughout the day, and skies then turn clear tonight. And you notice this cold front here entering the picture as we head into tonight and through tomorrow, but it's not going to make it here, so that's the good news. No cold air intrusions are expected as this cold front here kind of stalls out. High pressure to the surface may actually act as a blocking mechanism to prevent this cold front from actually making it here. And also, that front will probably weaken anyway, and we'll also get a south wind here in place too. And that will help keep us warm through Thursday and also into Friday. We don't really expect temperatures to drop again until we reach this weekend, with a good chance of rain. And that will be from our next system, more than likely from a cold front here is what we're watching too. And into early next week, we'll be watching for another chance of rain as well in the forecast, with temperatures actually holding steady into the 70s through the first half of the work week next week. Low temperatures will also drop into the 50s this weekend and next week as well. All right, let's take a look now at your 10-second takeaway. So watch out for some patchy fog that could impact your morning commute. Seasonal temperatures will also take shape once again today. Mainly sunny skies throughout the day here as well. Stay with us, though. Much more news and weather still to come right here on News 8 Now this morning. But for now, we're taking a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We're keeping a close eye on the possibility of some patchy fog that could develop and affect your morning commute out there. But as of right now, things are looking okay with current temperature readings into the 50s to low 60s, but there are some readings though much cooler than that in Sparta and Black River Falls into the upper 40s there. Even Volk Field looking cool, temperature at 45 degrees. Your dog walking forecast this morning looks pretty foggy out there in some spots, so just be careful. Partly cloudy for your afternoon, and then skies then turn mostly sunny by this evening. As far as your mowing forecast goes, things are looking good 69 degrees at 11, partly cloudy, lots of sunshine, mostly sunny 3 o'clock. Temperatures warm up to about 76. I'll be back with your commute forecast and your boating forecast coming up next in weather.
Welcome to the Morning Blitz. Labor Day means high school teams had the day off, but for the major leagues, we had a couple of baseball games to show. The Brewers entered the week 8.5 games back of the Cardinals in the division and 2.5 games back from the wild card, but they have a chance to gain some ground with their series against the Colorado Rockies. Game 1 of 3 at Coors Field. Brewers in a bit of a jam early, bases loaded for Charlie Blackmon, and he gets a base knock into left field. That scores 2 runs, and the Rockies take an early lead. But here come the Brewers. 4th inning after a Rowdy Tellez double. Andrew McCutchen singles into center field. Tellez rounding third and trying to score, and he's in there, safe at home. Milwaukee scores first. A few batters later, Jace Peterson bloops one out to left field, but that's trouble, and it gets down. McCutchen scores. Now the Brewers trail by just 1. We go to the 6th. We're all tied up, but with 2 men on, Victor Caratini lifts one into that thin Colorado air, and it's gone. A 3-run home run for Caratini, and the Brewers are starting to out the week in the win column 6-4. Twins in New York taking on the Yankees. First inning, 1 on for Josh Donaldson, and he gives this one a ride that goes off the wall. 1 run comes in to score, but Donaldson getting a little lazy, thrown out at second, and it's not even close to the 5th. Twins in need of a run. And in his first game back to the Bronx since being traded, Gary Sanchez sends this one way over the left field wall into the stands for a 2-run home run. Tie game in the 6th, and this is not the man you want to see at the plate. Aaron Judge to deep left field for his 54th home run of the season, and the Yankees take game 1 of 4. These 2 teams will be back at it this afternoon. That's all I have for the Morning Blitz. Have a great morning.
Breaking overnight, at least 10 people are dead and at least 18 others are injured after a stabbing spree in Canada on Sunday. Police say they've identified 3 crime scenes in Saskatchewan. Authorities have identified the 2 suspects as Damien and Miles Sanderson. Damien was found dead earlier this morning, and Miles is still on the run. Investigators believe the 2 men made both targeted and random attacks in 13 different areas of Saskatchewan. A Chinese company has been cleared to market a COVID-19 vaccine that can be inhaled. It's the first of its kind. The company that developed the vaccine, CanSino Biologics, said it would be delivered through the air and then is inhaled by mouth. The manufacturer said it can induce strong immunity, but data hasn't been provided to support this claim. Outgoing British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is scheduled to resign today. Johnson's departure will leave the incoming Prime Minister to inherit several national crises, including the economic fallout from Brexit, the COVID-19 pandemic. Johnson, who quit in July after a series of scandals, will formally resign his post to the Queen at Balmoral. Johnson will be succeeded by Liz Truss. Truss becomes Great Britain's 3rd ever female Prime Minister today. Truss was most recently the UK's foreign minister. She took the leading role in supporting Ukraine. The Conservative Party member was an accountant before she entered politics, and she now faces a number of economic issues plaguing the country. The U.S. Department of Justice has to make a choice. A judge is allowing a special master to filter documents seized from former President Donald Trump's home. The DOJ could appeal the decision or comply with it. Amy Kyler reports time is of the essence.
While it's a win for Trump, it's a procedural win.
The Justice Department has a decision to make. A judge is granting former President Donald Trump's request for a special master to review documents seized from his Florida home. The DOJ and Trump have until Friday to suggest candidates, or the DOJ could appeal.
I do think that it was probably a delay tactic by former President Trump.
Multiple legal experts say the main factor is time. Time for an appeal.
I don't think Trump may win that one, but it's going to take months for that issue to get to the Supreme Court.
Or time for the review. Both sides would have to work with the judge to establish that process.
If they can't agree on what day it is,
This is not going to be easy to do.
Notably, the judge wants to filter out 2 types of documents, those possibly covered by attorney-client or executive privilege.
Executive privilege is an area in which absolutely no court has ever found like circumstances to qualify.
In the end, all that time might not matter much.
Even if a document is deemed to be executive privilege, I don't think the result of that is you walk it back to Mar-a-Lago, hand it back to Donald Trump and say, here you go, sorry, we took it.
I don't think it's going to fundamentally change anything.
It does not prevent DOJ ultimately from charging or not charging or from gaining a conviction.
Amy Kiley, News 8 Now.
The judge's ruling pauses the Justice Department's criminal review of the documents recovered from Mar-a-Lago, but U.S. intelligence agencies can continue their national security damage assessment. Now to election 2022, President Joe Biden spent his Labor Day on the campaign trail, making a stop in 2 battleground states, Pennsylvania and right here in Wisconsin. Labor Day marks the final stretch before the November midterm election. During his speech at Milwaukee's Labor Fest, President Biden praised labor union members and the middle class.
The middle class built America. Everybody knows that. But unions built the middle class. That's a fact.
The president also thanked union members for helping him win his first election to the U.S. Senate. Republican candidate for Wisconsin Governor Tim Michels also spent time at Milwaukee's Labor Fest. Michels says he welcomes the president to Wisconsin, but he doesn't agree with the president's strategies to reduce inflation.
We always welcome a president of the United States, but if I had the opportunity to talk to him, I would talk to him about inflation and how it's out of control. And the reason we have out of control inflation is because of the excess government spending that's been going on.
Michels also said the president's shutdown of the Keystone Pipeline is the reason why gas prices are up. According to an Associated Press fact check, the Keystone Pipeline wasn't in use when the project was canceled, and high crude oil prices and high demand drove up gas prices. The Minnesota State Fair closed early Saturday after a shooting. Hundreds of people were seen fleeing the Midway. Police say one person was shot and was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Governor Tim Walz tweeted his appreciation to law enforcement for responding to reports of violence. This year, the movie A League of Their Own turns 30. The story follows 2 sisters who played in America's first women's professional baseball league. News 8 Now's Ken Kozarowski introduces us to a Galesville woman who helped with the movie script after playing the real league.
There's no crying in baseball! An iconic line from 1992's A League of Their Own. But even more iconic are the women who inspired the film. Women like 85-year-old Dolly Osborne. She grew up in rural North Carolina and quickly fell in love with baseball. But there weren't any girls' leagues, so she joined a boys' league.
And I was the only girl on the team and in the league. This was 1950.
In the early 50s, Dolly went to a minor league baseball game in Charlotte, where she realized her baseball career could reach a new level.
And I saw a sign that said, women's baseball. I thought, holy cow, women's baseball.
The All-American Girls Pro Baseball League had been around since 1943, when male pro baseball athletes were serving overseas in World War II. Cubs owner Philip Wrigley started the Girls League to keep baseball in the hearts and minds of Americans.
And Jimmy Fox was the manager. And of course I had heard of him, you know. And so I tried out and he said, yep, okay, we'll sign you.
She was just 14.
My parents had to sign this. I had never seen a contract.
Before she knew it, she was flying to Indiana to start her pro career as a pitcher.
I'm right here, right there. Had to be near the dog. I got to grow up very fast because the ladies were all older than me. The next youngest was 17.
Playing baseball was the easy part. The rules surrounding the game were another story.
Had to wear dresses in public. We had to wear makeup. I'd never worn makeup in my life. The only drawback in high school was I was a basketball player too, and I couldn't play. I was deemed a professional, and I said, but I'm not professional in basketball, but that didn't matter.
Dolly played 3 seasons in the league.
I stayed 2 years with Fort Wayne, and I was traded to South Bend. in 1954.
She wanted to play for decades, but didn't get the chance.
We were devastated when it ended.
The league folded as televised Major League games and large union strikes in the Midwest derailed attendance at the ladies' games. But Dolly wasn't giving up her playing days that easily.
Took a team on the road, and we played men's teams.
Traveling all over with little to no money.
I think one year I was down to a quarter in my pocket.
Chasing opportunities to play and even dabbling with some word-of-mouth advertising.
We would ride the fire trucks. They would take them all over town.
One travel game in particular will always stand out.
That's how I met my husband. We went out after the game, a whole group of us, and we sort of kept in touch for 9 years and then decided to get married. And they always ask him who won, and I said he did. He got me.
The sports world now has evolved quite a bit since Dolly joined the Fort Wayne Daisies. 50 years of Title IX, all thanks in part to the women like Dolly who proved it could be done.
We didn't really realize that that's what we were doing. We just wanted to play.
And because they wanted to, current and future generations can. For News 8 Now, I'm Ken Kozarowski.
One of those pioneers. Well, before the movie was shot, Dolly and other players got to meet with the director, Penny Marshall, and most of the cast. She says Marshall gave them the script, and the real players got to offer their feedback.
Keeping us still a close eye on some of the fog that could develop and impact your morning commute. But other than that, as you head out the door, our current temperatures look like this with 50s and 60s across the area. 63 or 60, I should say, in La Crosse. 53 is the temperature in Eau Claire. 49 degrees currently in Black River Falls. And 48 currently in Sparta. 61 is the temperature in Winona. Your forecast today looks absolutely marvelous. 79 degrees, mostly sunny, and a seasonable day in store. Light and variable winds to work with. For tonight, winds still remain calm. 61, mostly clear, and overall another seasonable night for us to work with. Boating forecast, lots of sunshine later this afternoon with temperatures in the 70s and a south wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. As far as your drive cast is concerned, after we get through some of that patchy fog that you could run into, skies then turn partly cloudy for your lunch hour, and things still look good here by the time your evening commute rolls around with mainly clear skies. Jordan?
Thanks a lot, Derek. Well, today's movie news takes us all the way to Venice, Italy. We'll tell you why movie fanatics are excited about the film you're seeing there. We'll have more in your Buzz Report after the break.
Well, skies are looking a bit cloudy outside this morning here in downtown La Crosse. City Cam 8 picking up this shot for us this morning. 60 degrees and an east-southeast wind at around 8 miles an hour. We have a river stage currently at 5.06 feet and dropping. Humidity is about 90%. And our current temperatures across the rest of the area, mainly into the 40s and 50s. Pretty cold here in Sparta at 48 and Black River Falls as well at 49. Eau Claire's at 53 and Winona is currently checking in with a temperature reading of 61 degrees. In the meantime, winds are looking light and variable, and I expect that to continue throughout the day. And again, we got some clouds here building up across the Coulee region. We'll keep our eyes on for some of the possible patchy fog that could also develop as well. Yesterday's high, pretty comfortable, 77 degrees. Pretty seasonable day in general. Today, I expect more of the same, 79 degrees, maybe a couple of degrees warmer. 60 degrees for the low this morning. That will put us above average here, maybe just a tad by about 58. But in all, another seasonal day expected today across the Coulee region with highs into the mid to upper 70s with 79 today in Eau Claire, 77 Black River Falls, and 75 today in Viroqua. Definitely another comfortable day in store with some of that patchy fog again here this morning in some spots. Partly cloudy by noon today, 71 degrees. Mostly sunny, 76 by 4. And then by 8, you can expect clear skies and temperatures at around 72 degrees. And we expect that, again, most of the area to see those clouds dissipate later in the afternoon and especially early this evening. We're expecting that clear sky. Now, you'll notice a cold front here that will begin to move slowly towards the south, especially by tomorrow, but it doesn't look like it's going to quite make it here. In fact, we expect this front to stall just off to the north with high pressure building south that may act as a little bit of a blocking mechanism because it looks like that front here is going to stall out and kind of weekend. And we also expect that high to kind of influence the weather to give us the sunny skies as well. As that high pulls away, we'll get a south wind out ahead of this next system that you see here to the west. And that's going to help warm us up back into the 80s with that south wind tomorrow through Friday, with temperatures at around 85 to 86 degrees. We expect our next system, more than likely in the form of a cold front, to move in to give us a good chance of rain and storms here this weekend. And that could also help lower the temperatures behind it into the upper 60s to low 70s. We'll be looking at another chance of storms, maybe even lingering into early next week, with highs only into the 70s. And our lows will also drop into the 50s for this weekend and also into early next week.
In our Buzz report this morning, the Banshees of Inisherin received a standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival that lasted 13 to 15 minutes. It went so long, ushers reportedly had to urge audience members to leave, so the next screening could start.
Why aren't you talking to Porrig no more?
That wouldn't be a sin now, would it, Father?
No, but it's not very nice either, is it?
That's just a little taste of what's to come. The Banshees of Inisherin opens in theaters on October 21st. So you'll have to check it out. The Weeknd is promising his Los Angeles fans a makeup date after he ended his Saturday night show and just 3 songs in. The artist says his voice started giving out on the first song and it was only getting worse, prompting the abrupt end to his sold-out show. He apologized to his fans and offered them a full refund. His next concert date is on September 22nd in Toronto. With that in mind, we have got some birthdays to celebrate this Tuesday morning.
That's right. We want to wish a happy 8th birthday to Emerson. They love Minecraft, soccer, and Pokemon.
Happy 88th birthday to Gladys, this mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother. Just checking all the boxes, Gladys. Good for you. She loves to spend time with her family, enjoys her flowers, and taking walks.
Very nice. And happy 8th birthday to Piper. This energetic, fun-loving girl loves arts and crafts, playing with her puppies, and camping with her parents and brother, Kevin.
A happy 8th birthday this morning to Adeline. Her mom says she loves to read, do gymnastics, and play on the trampoline, of course.
Yes, trampoline is one of my favorites. And if you know a special someone turning 8 months, 8 years, 80 years old, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Yeah, let us know. You're going to upload their photo on our website and look for the Submit Pictures button right under the Home tab at news8000.com. Well, we hope you can stay with us. We're back in 2 minutes with your morning news now. Everything you need to know this morning in 5 minutes or less.
Ahead on CBS Mornings, a new warning about seafood. The reason a wildlife protection watchdog group says we should avoid more than a dozen fisheries, including nearly all of the New England lobster industry. And Anthony takes us behind the scenes of the star-studded tribute. Did you hear about this? To the late Foo Fighters drummer, that's Taylor Hawkins, talks with some of his music heroes who dropped everything to take the stage. It was awesome. And actress Bianca Lawson, star of the critically acclaimed drama Queen Sugar, is live with us today to tell us what to expect in the show's final season. I'm not ready. We'll see you at 7 o'clock on the dot.
Your morning news now on this Tuesday. President Joe Biden spent his Labor Day on the campaign trail, making a stop in 2 battleground states, Pennsylvania and right here in Wisconsin. Labor Day marks the final stretch before the November midterm election. During his speech at Milwaukee's Labor Fest, President Biden praised labor union members and the middle class.
Middle class built America. Everybody knows that. But unions built the middle class. That's a fact.
The president also thanked union members for helping him win his first election to the U.S. Senate. Republican candidate for Wisconsin Governor Tim Michels also spent time at Milwaukee's Labor Fest. Michels says he welcomes the president to Wisconsin, but he doesn't agree with the president's strategies to reduce inflation. A group of Wisconsin nurses are getting ready to picket. UW Health nurses spoke to the press at Labor Fest in Madison on Monday, saying they'll strike for at least 3 days starting Tuesday, the 13th, unless their demands are met. Those demands include a call to recognize the nurses' union. UW maintains recognizing the union violates a state law that reduces bargaining rights for unions. Hundreds of nurses are expected to walk off the job later this month.
This strike is about taking care of patients, but we aren't given the tools to do that job. Administration has cut staffing, taken away proper training. We are exhausted, making us prone to mistakes. Patients deserve better.
The UW Health nurses are not the only ones who are going on strike. Over the river, Around 15,000 Minnesota nurses plan to begin their strike later this week on Friday after failed negotiations. Well, many people took a day off on Labor Day. A West Salem mom put in a lot of work and she couldn't be happier. Emily Sweeney went into labor Sunday night and delivered a baby boy on Labor Day. This is Wesley and he's just perfect. Family and friends got to meet the little guy a few hours after his birth. Proud parents Emily and Andrew Sweeney are excited to take him home.
He's healthy, so his exams and checks, and so we're grateful for that. Very thankful.
Wesley's big sister is also excited to have a little brother, and from all of us here at News 8 Now, a big congratulations to the Sweeney family.
Looking at some patchy morning fog early and in some spots, and then after all that clears out, looking at partly cloudy skies throughout the remainder of the morning into the early afternoon, followed by mostly sunny conditions late this afternoon to early this evening, and temperatures warming up into the mid to upper 70s today.
La Crosse got its first visit from the brand new Viking Mississippi cruise ship on Monday. The luxury liner is 450 feet long and 75 feet wide, and it can carry more than 400 passengers. It left St. Paul on September 3rd and is on its way to St. Louis. The first 15-day cruise from St. Paul all the way down to New Orleans is scheduled to leave on September 17th. Happening today, South Avenue in La Crosse will be closed to through traffic between 7th Street and Green Bay Street. The closure comes as crews will be making an emergency repair of a water main under the northbound lanes. Work is expected to be completed by the end of the day on September 10th. It's back to school for La Crescent students today with new teachers and new students coming to school. It'll definitely be an exciting year. The new school year will also start out with a new superintendent, Melinda Crowley. Back here in La Crosse, UWL students are starting their first day of classes. With move-in weekend officially over, students from all over have been settling into their dorm rooms and getting ready for classes. According to UWL's website, there are over 9,000 students enrolled, and more than 81% of those students come from Wisconsin.
As you head out the door, you may run into some patchy fog here for your morning commute. Otherwise, expect some cloudy conditions until around noon. Partly cloudy conditions then, and then late this afternoon, looking at mostly sunny skies. Temperatures warming up into the upper 70s, so a seasonable day with light and variable winds.
Get out inside and take a walk if you can to get a break today. Don't forget to keep up with us with the news of the day at news8000.com. We'll have the latest coming up for you on News 8 Now at noon as well, and then our evening crew takes over at 5, 6, and 10 this evening. We hope to see you right back here at noon. CBS Mornings follows us here. Thank you for watching and have a great day.